So what would you say to someone who is sort of in an unhealthy physical state but wants to get into shape and they don't really have an idea of where to even begin?
There's a few different bits of information. When we say somebody who's not in good physical shape, are we talking about somebody who is morbidly obese, like high body fat percentage, or are we talking somebody who is physically like healthy in terms of their body fat percentage, but they may have terrible posture because they've been playing too many computer games, or they've done so much boxing their hands are in front and they can't even lift their arms anymore? There's so many different types of what we would class as unhealthy now. And then I would say when the term fitness comes up, so fit is fit for purpose. So a javelin thrower is not going to be the same as a sprinter, but there is some crossover because they sprint before they throw the javelin. But then if you take a gymnast and you make them run a marathon, same thing. Or if you take a marathon runner and you put them in a kickboxing class, it's very different. There's a huge crossover and overlap. So I would throw the question back and say, which type of fitness are we going to talk about?
There's two people that I'm thinking of in my life, and one is quite, morbidly obese. It doesn't really have the will to make the change actually, and I've tried many times to inspire that change. And I guess for that person, how would you inspire the change really?
So to inspire the change and then to facilitate the change are two very separate things. So the inspiration just comes from showing them that there is a hope, that they can be different from the way they are currently. So with obesity, so anything over 20% body fat is technically, clinically morbidly obese is what they call it now. I believe that's the right terms. You can check it out correctly. But what people don't understand is, so the limbic brain, when your BMI goes up, you start to not feel as unsafe. So your limbic brain, when it spots dangers in the environment throughout the day and monitors it, it should be running at a certain level. So we would sort of say, okay, well, there's a danger here, there's a danger there, and you feel uncomfortable. So you get this uncomfortable feeling which arises internally. When your BMI goes up, that drops down. So the bigger you are, the safer you feel in your head. In terms of your body, your actual limbic brain, it tones down slightly the bigger you get. So then the problem you've got to come across is, okay, so you can inspire somebody to do some training, but then when they start doing the training and they start to lose body fat, they automatically will feel unsafe. So then they're going to get a discomfort the more weight they lose. And if they're not aware of that, it's going to come up with, so I'm uncomfortable doing this training because I'm feeling less and less safe the more weight I lose. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do something to counterbalance it by eating more. So it's a lot, people say, you get people say, don't you, that person's lazy because they're fat. It is entirely not true. I know people that are obese that will outwork anyone, but the reason they're not losing the weight is because they go home afterwards. They've put themselves in what would be a calorie deficit from the training, but then when they get home afterwards, they can't not go to that cupboard and eat a whole packet of biscuits. And it's nothing to do with their training methods. It's nothing to do with the actual calories. The internal issue is that they don't feel comfortable. And what do we all want to feel? We want to be comfortable in our own skin, don't we? So it's a lot more complex than just a calorie deficit with people as well.
So is that when you'd start to look at, like you mentioned, the complex trauma?
Yeah. It would be coaching somebody very slowly into very small wins. We all like winning something, don't we? Kind of like, I've done well today. And it's like, okay, so we need to educate them. So we've got to regulate the nervous system. We've got to educate them on what the process is going to look like. So as an example, if we say we're going to drive to Cornwall, the journey would be we're going to go past Brighton and there's a milestone. So you know you're going towards it. And when you get there, you'll go, oh, there it was. I got told that this is what it's going to be like. And now I know. What that does is it takes away uncertainty. And if we can do that for them, what causes more discomfort is uncertainty for people as well. So if we can take away the uncertainty by telling them what the journey is going to look like, we can prepare them before. So we educate them, and then we might do a small step at a time so they can identify what's coming up before it comes up. If I said to you, you're going to have an uncomfortable feeling, it would be exactly like if you're driving along and you think there's going to be a car crash, your body automatically braces slightly. Yeah. And that's what we're going to do for them. We're going to brace. Bracing is you're creating a structure, aren't you, with your body. So normally it's nice and relaxed. If you could stay relaxed, when a baby falls over, the baby's super relaxed, aren't they? And they just go boom, and then they get back up because they're like jelly almost. But as we get older, we learn that this is going to hurt. So we tighten. And then when do we ever relax again afterwards? And the whole point is for almost to go back to this original setting of, I fell over, but I didn't know it was going to hurt, so it didn't hurt. But we look up, that we fall over as a baby, we hit the floor, and then we look round to see what the reaction of our parents is. And if their face depends whether I'm going to cry or how I'm going to respond to it. And I think this is where the reparenting thing comes in. We've got to analyse it a bit more and understand it in a better way, I think.
I just wanted to talk about, there's another sort of person that I've in my life. There's quite a lot of people. I feel like it could be like a large sort of silent sort of majority, and it's the kind of person that's sort of eternally at the computer and up into the night, and you never catch them going outside, and probably mention they're quite depressed, might make suicide jokes quite a lot. And I don't know, it's like how that sort of person, how do you address that in a way?
So for me, it's about connection. So every single person in the whole planet, they deserve a safe connection. The problem is because we know we deserve a safe connection with somebody else, but we can't find one. And when we do find one, it has to be reciprocated. Then what happens is we say, okay, here's my safe connection, here's my piece of Velcro, my umbilical cord that I'm going to attach to you. And then we're going to feed each other, and we're going to be nice to each other, and your nice vibes are going to be my nice vibes, and it's going to build. And then you're going to have something which is classed as a healthy relationship. But we've been taught that we're not allowed to make mistakes. So as soon as another person makes a mistake and we get a feeling that they're not a safe person anymore, we judge them, we ridicule them, we have all these negative thoughts, we ruminate about what they've done, and then we're going to take it out on them. That automatically shows them that we're not safe anyway. So then we have to withdraw. They withdraw, we withdraw, and we get these boundaries. They're not like boundaries in terms of how I would teach somebody to behave towards me if they were misbehaving and being horrible. They're boundaries, they're walls that we build up that eventually turn into a cell that traps us inside it. And we're almost looking out through these little holes that we drill in the wall to check if it's safe to come back out. And if we're lucky, some days we're allowed out through a few of these walls that we've built, and we play in the garden, but we're too frightened to go past the white picket fence that we've built on the edge, or the barbed wire fence kind of. And this is what it is about. It's about connecting with that person and finding out what's really going on for them. The problem is there's no modeling anymore by healthy parents, healthy relationships with people, because of what we talked about. If somebody makes a mistake, we cut them off straight away. There's no discussions about how do we repair and resolve ruptures in relationships. And the bond that allows somebody to come out of their shell and not isolate and get the hope back that they had, as we talked about, like for a child, no child says, I want to be a factory worker, or I want to be a taxi driver. Like, all these things are important jobs, but the kids turn around and say things like, I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be a doctor, because they've seen a doctor saving someone's life on the they want to be these things that we all admire in society. Partly the problem now is the narcissists have got those jobs, so we're all trying to achieve what they've got because we think that they're happy people, but they're putting on the facade. So it's about the connection, reconnecting with that person, finding out what's going on for them, making them feel safe, but giving them the education they need to understand how to express what's going on internally with them. Because most of us don't even have the words to express what's going on with us. and we don't have a physical way of expressing ourselves. Like in other cultures, they have huge amounts of different dancing. You can see the African tribes that they dance in fascinating ways. They move their body in amazing ways. We've got these kids in Africa doing triple backflips and stuff on the sand. It's insane. And in England, we've got Morris dancing around a pole and getting drunk in the old town. And again, it's not that that's really bad. We can have some good parties there, but does it lead to what we're looking for, which is internal fulfillment and connection with safe people?